Police officers and 3 health department officials came in commando style. They took strategic positions in the bar so no one could put their cigarettes out. It was like a drug raid. I mean, we were like criminals.
Here we are. You can't smoke a cigarette.
I'd just like to tell you that it's illegal to smoke in bars in California, okay?
The last bastion of smoking is a bar.
Right. Can I get you a beer?
I enjoy smoking. I'll stop when I feel like stopping, not because I've been told to stop. I have no intentions of stopping. I enjoy it.
Η αντικαπνιστική αστυνομία εφαρμόζει τους νόμους κατά του καπνίσματος, που ψήφισε πρόσφατα η πολιτεία της Καλιφόρνια. Προβλέπεται πρόστιμο $75 για κάθε αδίκημα. Για τους καπνιστές πρόκειται για μια ακόμα προσβολή της ελευθερίας τους.
They're health Nazis. They're looking to eradicate tobacco use. We're losing right now, but we're not going to lose the war. We're losing the battles.
Στις αρχές δεκαετίας του 80, η εταιρεία R.J. Reynolds επέλεξε ως κεντρικό πρόσωπο της εκστρατείας της στη διαφήμιση έναν αρενοπό τύπο, αντίγραφο του Harrison Ford. Ο David Gerlitz έγινε το σύμβολο των τσιγάρων Winston. Αποστολή του ήταν να προσελκύσει νέους καπνιστές, σε μια εποχή που το κοινό είχε όλο και μεγαλύτερη επίγνωση για τους κινδύνους του καπνίσματος. Καπνιστής και ο ίδιος, ο Gerlitz δεν άρχισε να εκπλαγεί από τη τάση των πελατών του.
One of the executives from R.J. Reynolds came over and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm smoking." They said, "Well, you're still smoking that stuff?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "How come you guys from R.J. Reynolds don't smoke?" And he turned to me and he said, "We don't smoke the shit, we just sell it. We reserve the right to smoke for the young, the poor, the black, and the stupid."
Αυτή η πιο επιτυχημένη διαφημιστική εκστρατεία στην ιστορία απέδιδε ένα πνεύμα παλικαριάς και αρενοπής συντροφικότητας. Ήταν μια εικόνα ειδικά σχεδιασμένη για τους νέους.
They told me on many occasions my job was to get 3 to 4 to 5,000 kids smoking every day to replace those who quit or die. We were getting new replacement smokers, and they, in our minds, were being told it's 12, 13, 14-year-old boys.
Η εταιρεία είχε κάνει έρευνα για τις συνήθειες των καταναλωτών, ανάμεσα στους οποίους περιλαμβάνονται και 14χρονα παιδιά. Η σημερινή διοίκηση της εταιρείας κατακρίνει τώρα αυτή την τακτική.
I think it was regrettable that it was written. Those memoranda are inappropriate. There's no question in my mind that tobacco companies oughtn't to be following the consumption habits of minors in planning their strategies for the future. Completely inappropriate.
Το 1987 η εταιρεία R.J. Reynolds προσπάθησε να αναζωογονήσει τα Camel που παρουσίαζαν πτώσεις στις πωλήσεις. Επενόησε έναν εικονογραφημένο ήρωα, τον Τζο Κάμελ. Στόχος, νέοι πελάτες για τα Camel που έχαναν έδαφος. Σύμφωνα με τους επικριτές της, αυτή η εκστρατεία ενθάρρυνε τα μικρά παιδιά να καπνίζουν.
The tobacco industry has been brilliant in hooking kids. It demonstrates what you can do if you have no moral gyroscope whatsoever. It's not a coincidence that after Joe Camel was introduced, the percentage of American kids who smoke Camel cigarettes skyrocketed from less than 0.5% to well over 13%. During that same period of time, the number of adults who used Camel didn't move at all. Joe Camel wasn't one iota about adult brand switching. It was 100% designed to appeal to kids.
The one question my shareholders are going to ask me at the end of the year is, has Camel's market share increased? Because remember, it's just a consumer product competing against Philip Morris and other companies. And we would not be doing our job if we didn't do effective work in our marketing campaigns. It's a consumer product.
We have to sell cigarettes to your kids. We need 500,000 new smokers a year just to stay in business. So we advertise in your schools, at candy counters. We lower our prices. We have to. It's nothing personal. You understand.
The tobacco industry. How low will they go to make a profit?
I had my first cigarette when I was 13.
I can't remember doing very many things without a cigarette in my hand. Almost like a twin. A Siamese twin. Somebody that was there constantly. Like someone is embracing you. Like a friend is there. Everything is gonna be alright.
Δεν ήταν όλα εντάξει. Σε ηλικία 41 ετών η Ντέπι προσβλήθηκε από καρκίνο του φάρυγγα. Τώρα καπνίζει από μια τρύπα στο λαιμό της.
I light the cigarette, suction from my mouth, and after it gets lit, I hold it to the stoma. And I'd like to say I just take a little puff, but you don't. You get all that you can. It's like, oh God, yes.
Το κάπνισμα συνιστά έξι ή αποτελεί προϊόν της ελεύθερης βούλησης των καπνιστών? Αυτό ήταν από τα πιο κρίσιμα ερωτήματα στη μάχη του καπνού. Οι κατασκευαστές του Μάλμπορο, του πιο εμπορικού τσιγάρου στον κόσμο, έδωσαν μόνοι τους την απάντηση. Αυτή η μυστική έρευνα είχε στόχο την ανακάλυψη ενός ασφαλέστερου υποκατάστατου της ηρωίνης. Αλλά τα αποτελέσματα της έρευνας είχαν ανυπολόγιστες συνέπειες για την καπνοβιομηχανία.
Rats took nicotine just the way people smoke. Rats would wake up in the morning, and before they would eat, before they would groom, before they'd get their water, they'd go over and they'd press that lever for nicotine just like a person who gets up and lights up a cigarette. And they would load their brains up with nicotine in the morning. And then all day long, about once every hour or so, the rats would go back and press that lever, just like people who stand outside and smoke cigarettes. And then right before the rat went to bed, right before a person goes to bed, they smoke a bunch of cigarettes to put the nicotine into their brain. And that was very revealing to us, that here was an animal mimicking what a person does. And that said something to us that was very important. It said that cigarette smoking was a biological process of addiction, not just a habit.
Για τον Βίκτορ Ντενόμπλ η ανακάλυψη ήταν πολύ σημαντική, γιατί η βιομηχανία αρνιόταν ότι τα τσιγάρα προκαλούν εθισμό.
People were very careful, Philip Morris, not to use the big A word, the addiction word. They would use things like impact. What is the impact of this cigarette? What they really meant was how much nicotine is it delivering to the brain.
Ο επιστήμονας κλήθηκε στα κεντρικά γραφεία της εταιρείας στη Νέα Υόρκη.
All of a sudden I'm going up on a corporate jet to New York City. I mean, I'm a grunt level scientist. I'm in a laboratory working with rats. And I talked to the president of Philip Morris. He asked me one question. He said, why should I risk $1 billion industry on rats pressing levers for nicotine? All he wanted to know was the profit margin. This is about money. Nothing else.
Οι δικηγόροι της εταιρείας πίεσαν τον Ντενόμπλ να μην δημοσιοποιήσει τα αποτελέσματα της έρευνάς του. Το ίδιο έκανε και ο πρόεδρος της Philip Morris.
This guy shows up, and I'm sure he's making like $1 bazillion a day. And he says to me, is this a test that a government agency would use to determine whether a substance has an abuse liability, an addiction potential? I said, of course, yes. And he got all upset, and he grabbed this guy by the arm, and he said, we're going out of here. And he opens the door, and he looks back, and he says to us, damn it, man, you're making us into a drug company.
Η εταιρεία αποφάσισε να σταματήσει την έρευνα. Ο Ντενόμπλ κλήθηκε στο γραφείο του προϊστάμενου του.
I'm sitting there thinking, wow, you know, this is more laboratory space. This is a bonus. This is a promotion. And they said, but as of 3 o'clock, and it's now 10 after 3, we don't do this research anymore. They said, I want you to go downstairs and kill animals. Turn over all your documents.
Ο Ντενόμπλ εξόντωσε τα 250 πειραματόζωα, αλλά κρυφά κράτησε κάποιες σημειώσεις από την έρευνά του.
They had people following me and watching what I was doing, and they were making it very clear that if I did go public, I mean, they told me point blank, they would absolutely categorically sue me and have me put in jail.
Η έρευνα του Ντενόμπλ παρέμεινε έτσι μυστική επί μία δεκαετία. Εθισμός ήταν η λέξη κλειδί για τον άνθρωπο αυτό. Τη δεκαετία του 80 ο Έβερτ Κουπ ήταν επικεφαλής της δημόσιας υγείας στις ΗΠΑ. Θεωρούσε τη μάχη κατά του καπνίσματος μια σταυροφορία, όχι μόνο για την υγεία, αλλά και την ηθική. Το 1988 εξέδωσε μια επίσημη έκδοση, η οποία ανέφερε ότι τα τσιγάρα προκαλούν εθισμό.
We in a sense made a word that was always associated with heroin and cocaine, criminals and crime in our streets, with a drug that was illegal. And here we have a Surgeon General's report that says a legal drug in this country, nicotine, sold as a legal product, tobacco, is just as addictive as cocaine and heroin. Well, that changed a lot of people's thinking.
Our opponents very much wanted to have that word in its pejorative sense, to link smoking with crack cocaine and heroin. And it was part of the strategy, obviously, to demonize smoking and to make it antisocial.
Μέριλ Williams, ο άνθρωπος που απέδειξε ότι το τσιγάρο προκαλεί εθισμό. Ο Williams ήταν υπάλληλος σε μια δικηγορική εταιρεία που εκπροσωπούσε την Branded Williamson, μια θυγατρική της British American Tobacco. Του είχαν αναθέσει να ταξινομήσει δεκάδες κυβότια που περιείχαν απόρριτα και ευαίσθητα έγγραφα για τη σχέση ανάμεσα στο κάπνισμα και την υγεία. Ο Williams έκανε κάτι που άλλαξε ριζικά τα πράγματα.
My thoughts were, there's no way in the world I can not get these documents. I've got to get these documents. I'm going to get these documents. And believe me, I was scared to death as I was taking out the originals. I had to take it out in sections, and I did the James Bond thing. I plucked the hair and put it in the section that I took, and then I went out. Getting out and getting in was controlled by the guards. And as I passed the guards, I would be munching potato chips, and the noise of the chips would be distracting to the noise of the paper. We were allowed to carry a briefcase. And at Christmas, I filled the whole briefcase with documents because nobody was there. I didn't even make a pretense of working. I just left and passed the guards and said goodbye and had Merry Christmas, and the spirit was such that nobody wanted to stop me.
Μέσα σε 4 χρόνια, ο Williams υπέγλεψε χιλιάδες εμπιστευτικά έγγραφα. Ένα από αυτά διέψευδε όλες τις δημόσιες δηλώσεις των εταιρεών καπνού. Περιείχε μία φράση.
We're in the business of selling nicotine, an addictive drug. I was totally shocked. I mean, I knew it was true, but to see it in black and white. They knew that eventually there were going to be leaks. They just didn't know that this was going to be one big leak.
Ο Μέριλ Βίλιαμσον αναζητούσε κάποιον που θα αξιοποιούσε τα έγγραφα που είχε υποκλέψει. Η εμφάνισή του στο Κογκρέσο θα αποδείκνυαν ότι το κάπνισμα είναι καταστροφικό.
I'd like you to rise. You raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We suffered a terrible loss in those hearings. The media picked up on it. The spectacle of the CEO standing like people before a lineup with their hands in the air was a devastating public relations blow.
It was a watershed event, and having crossed that point, we're never going to go back. The tobacco industry is not going to be able to put all this back in a bottle and hide it, as they were so successfully able to do for decades.
It was a perfect example of a show trial, something you don't expect to see in a free democracy. It was akin to the McCarthy hearings of the 1950s.
Yes or no? Do you believe nicotine is not addictive?
I believe nicotine is not addictive, yes.
Mr. Johnston?
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Την ίδια ώρα που συνέβαιναν όλα αυτά, ο Μέριλ Βίλιαμς αναζητούσε βοήθεια στην θεοσεβούμενη πολιτεία του Μισισίπι. Είχαν καταλάβει ότι είχε κλέψει τα έγγραφα και ο Βίλιαμς φοβόταν για την ίδια του τη ζωή.
I wanted to get into the public arena, but I didn't want to hang from my toes like Mussolini. You know, it just was not on my mind to kill myself.
Εδώ ήρθε σε επαφή με έναν δικηγόρο, θεοσεβούμενο, που είχε ένα περίεργο εθισμό. Ο Ντον Μπάρετ κατέθετε αγωγές εναντίον των βιομηχανιών καπνού. Πίστευε ότι είναι θεόσταλτη εντολή να το κάνει.
I think I was doing what the Lord wanted me to do. They were a terrible evil that had to be confronted. I hate them with a perfect hate, as King David said in the Old Testament. I hate them in an Old Testament kind of way.
Το μίσος του προέρχονταν από τις βρώμικες μεθοδεύσεις που είχε αντιμετωπίσει ο ίδιος και η οικογένειά του όταν είχε κάνει μια αγωγή σε μια άλλη καπνοβιομηχανία. Εναντίον του είχαν παραταχθεί οι πολεμικές λεγεώνες των μεγάλων καπνοβιομηχανιών, δικηγόροι, εμπειρογνώμονες, ιδιωτικοί αστυνομικοί, σύμβουλοι δημοσίων σχέσεων. Όλοι μαζί ήταν γνωστοί με το προσωνύμιο «Ο τείχος από σάρκα». Είχαν αποδειχθεί αίτητοι. Άτομα που είχαν αρρωστήσει από το κάλυψμα και είχαν καταθέσει αγωγές τελικά τις απέστειραν, τσακισμένοι από τα έξοδα και τις πιέσεις. Και βέβαια οι εταιρείες δεν είχαν πληρώσει ούτε δραχμή για αποζημιώσεις. Εδώ ξεκίνησε η αντίστροφη μέτρηση στον πόλεμο του καπνού.
They were killing people by the bushel basket, and yet nobody had ever collected a penny from them. And I thought, well, somebody's going to do it eventually. Why can't we do it right here in Lexington, Mississippi?
Συνέτερος του Ντον Μπάρετ ήταν ο εκατομμυριούχος δικηγόρος Ντίκι Σκράγκς. Οι δυο τους διέθεσαν εκατομμύρια από την προσωπική τους περιουσία σε αυτό το δικαστικό αγώνα. Αλλά και τα οικονομικά ωφέλη για αυτούς θα ήταν τεράστια, σε περίπτωση που κέρδιζαν. Οι δύο δικηγόροι από το Μισισίπι βρήκαν έναν ανέλπιστο σύμμαχο στον αγώνα τους, τον Williams, με τα κλεμμένα έγγραφά του.
That he believed that Williams had documents that might be of interest to us. I picked up Merrill at the airport. We took my Learjet and we landed at this remote spot and we put the documents on the airplane. We brought them back to Mississippi, back to my office. He brought out documents in 2s and 3s to show us, and it was astounding.
Ο Σκράγκς κάλεσε αμέσως τον εισαγγελέα της πολιτείας του Μισισιπί.
He said his name was Merrill Williams, that he had some documents that I ought to see.
He looked like he had coughed up an alligator.
The first words I saw were that, in our opinion, or we are in the business of selling nicotine, an addictive drug.
And the crown jewels had landed in my lap.
I had just witnessed all the 7 chief executive officers of the tobacco companies raising their right hand and swearing before Congress when asked the question, is nicotine an addictive drug? Each one of them said, in my opinion, nicotine is not an addictive drug. So what I had just 21 days later was absolute evidence that they had known for the last 30 years that nicotine was an addictive drug. They had lied before Congress, and what impressed me is that this was evidence of a crime. And when I saw that, my comment was, these guys are toast. I cannot believe this.
I sent a copy of them right quick. I sent my copy to Stan Glantz at the University of California.
Ο Μπάρετ έκανε τη σωστή επιλογή. Ο Stan Glantz ήταν από τους πιο φανατικούς εχθρούς των μεγάλων βιομηχανιών καπνού.
People who run the tobacco industry are moral midgets. They're like cockroaches. They love the dark and they spread disease.
Τα έγγραφα τοποθετήθηκαν σε μια θηρίδα ασφαλείας στην πανεπιστημιακή βιβλιοθήκη. Η εταιρεία δεν άρχισε να μάθει που βρίσκονταν.
When the tobacco companies found out they were there and demanded them back, they wanted to know who was looking at them. And the library said, excuse me, we don't give that information out. So they went and had a couple of private investigators staking out the library, sitting in the lobby out in front of the archives, watching who was coming and going.
Η εταιρεία έκανε αγωγή κατά το πανεπιστήμιο, ζητώντας πίσω τα κλεμμένα έγγραφα. Η αγωγή απορρίφθηκε.
They were very concerned that if some of these documents ever saw the light of day, the industry would just be dead meat from a legal point of view. And that's finally, after 50 years, what's happened.
Η βιβλιοθήκη δημοσιοποίησε τα έγγραφα μέσω του ίντερνετ. Τώρα πια ήταν δημόσια.
They knew nicotine was addictive in 1963. They knew smoking caused cancer in the 50s. And they had elaborate and intelligent plans to cover this up, to keep this information away from the public, and to keep people smoking.
Η ομάδα του Μισισιπί μπορούσε πλέον να χρησιμοποιήσει τα έγγραφα στα δικαστήρια. Είχε όμως να αντικρούσει το βασικό υπερασπιστικό επιχείρημα των καπνοβιομηχάνων, ότι οι καπνιστές επιλέγουν να καπνίσουν με βάση την προσωπική τους θέληση.
They wrapped the American flag around themselves and said, these are adult smokers, and they made an adult choice to smoke, and we shouldn't interfere with that, and that's what America is all about. Well, of course, that makes you want to throw up. I mean, listening to that, knowing what we know about addiction, and I kept saying that we've got to get around this argument of nobody made him smoke, of free choice, and we hit upon an idea.
Ο Γενικός Εισαγγελέας, ο Μάικ Μουρ, σκέφτηκε ότι θα μπορούσε ευκολότερα να νικήσει τις εταιρείες στο δικαστήριο προσφεύγοντας εν ονόματι ολόκληρης της πολιτείας. Θα ζητούσε αποζημίωση για το κόστος νοσηλείας των ασθενούντων καπνιστών. Μια δαπάνη που ασφαλώς δεν αποτελούσε επιλογή της πολιτείας.
When we filed our lawsuit, we thought we had a pretty good shot, but we knew we were against just a tremendously powerful industry with unlimited resources, so it was a little bit scary.
We could put the tobacco industry in danger for its life. And we realized it was the silver bullet.
It has certainly. That bullet had our name written on it.
They were running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
I will have to tell you that I misjudged the strength of the Attorney General claims.
You could see the fear in their eyes.
There is the chance that you will end up in the wrong court at the wrong moment, and one loss will wipe out an entire industry.
They would bicker among themselves, and it was a delightful scene, let me tell you.
There's no question what the objective of the other side of this debate is trying to do. Their objective is to put us out of business.
Αμέσως μετά, η αληθινή ιστορία του Insider, η περιπέτεια του μεγαλύτερου αποστάτη στην ιστορία του πόλεμου του καπνού. Όπως δεν την είδατε από τις μεγάλες οθόνες στη γνωστή ομώνυμη κινηματογραφική ταινία. Μετά το μικρό διάλειμμα, όχι ενώ ο δικαστικός αγώνας συνεχίζονταν, ήρθε μια άλλη μεγάλη απειλή για τις βιομηχανίες καπνού. Το μπαρ αυτό είναι ένας πραγματικός ναός του τσιγάρου. Ο κατάλογος περιλαμβάνει μάρκες τσιγάρων. Εδώ μπορεί κανείς να κάτσει και να απολαύσει ανενόχλητος το τσιγάρο του. Όμως το παθητικό κάπνισμα μετέβαλε δραματικά τη στάση της κοινωνίας απέναντι στους καπνιστές και τη συνήθεια τους. Τα τσιγάρα είναι πλέον δημόσιος κίνδυνος. Αυτή ήταν η μεγαλύτερη απειλή που είχε αντιμετωπίσει μέχρι τότε η βιομηχανία καπνού.
I really believe most people in the industry formed an opinion that now looks terribly misguided, that this subject would not amount to a whole lot, that it would not be accepted as scientifically sound.
Passive smoking is the industry's Achilles heel. Because while the tobacco industry can keep smokers smoking and through their advertising help them rationalize their behavior of killing themselves, it's very hard to get somebody to believe they have a right to kill somebody else.
We never met, but you know me.
I'm your waitress.
I brought your coffee.
Remember the drinks? Can we ask you something? 8 hours in here. It's like smoking almost a pack. More of us die of lung cancer and heart disease than in any other woman's job.
When you smoke a cigarette or breathe in secondhand smoke, you're putting cadmium in the air, dimethylnitrosamine, nicotine, arsenic, ammonia, lead, a whole variety of toxic chemicals, which if they were coming out of a smokestack in an industry would be very, very heavily regulated.
public health authorities increasingly are marginalizing themselves by their more aggressive and excessive claims about smoking. Basically, they've now decided that the end justifies the means, and they engage in junk science to try to make smoking even less socially acceptable than it is already.
Το παθητικό κάπνισμα ήρθε στην επιφάνεια μέσα από μια ιστορική υπόθεση, με μια υπάλληλο των Αμερικανικών αερογραμμών. Η Νόρμα Μπρόιν δεν είχε διανοηθεί ότι διέτρεχε κίνδυνο υγείας από το επάγγελμά της ως αεροσυνοδού. Επί 13 χρόνια εργάζονταν μέσα στα γεμάτα από καπνό αεροπλάνα.
It was irritating, it was annoying, didn't make us feel good, but none of us knew that it was going to kill us.
Στα 34 χρόνια της, η Νόρμα έμαθε ότι πάσχει από καρκίνο του πνεύμονα. Δεν είχε καπνίσει ποτέ στη ζωή της.
There's no question in my mind that the secondhand smoke caused my lung cancer. I don't have any of the risk factors. My doctors have certified that my lung cancer came from secondhand smoke in my work environment.
Η ζωή της Νόρμα εξαρτάται από αυτή την προστατευτική μάσκα. Πρέπει να αποφύγει οποιαδήποτε ατμοσφαιρική ρύπαση, όπως και το καπνό του τσιγάρου. Για εκείνη είναι ζήτημα επιβίωσης.
I have basically one lung left now. The other one's pretty much gone because of complications. Every time I'm in a smoky environment, I get an infection that kills that much more of my lung cells. Pretty soon, there will be none left, and I will be dead. It's not a matter of choice.
Η Νόρμα άσκησε αγωγή κατά των εταιριών καπνού, επωνόμωτη 10.000 συναδέλφων της που δεν ήταν καπνιστές. Η υπόθεση έκλεισε με δικαστικό συμβιβασμό. Οι βιομηχανίες υποχρεώθηκαν να καταβάλουν $300 εκατομμύρια για κάποιο επιστημονικό ερευνητικό ίδρυμα. Αρνήθηκαν όμως να γνωρίσουν οποιαδήποτε ευθύνη τους. Ήταν η πρώτη φορά που είχαν καταβάλει αποζημίωση σε μια τέτοια υπόθεση.
Every fiber of my being, I want to see the tobacco companies held responsible. They're evil. They are the definition of evil. They put profit before people. This is about greed. It is very simple. That's all it's about. They produce a product that they know, if used exactly how it was intended to be used, causes sickness, disease, and death in the user and the non-user. And they tell you that it's not so. They lie about it.
Anyone who looks at the science will see that the vast majority of studies on this issue have demonstrated that with the possible exception of young children, there is no statistically significant risk associated with environmental tobacco smoke. The whole issue of smoke in the atmosphere can be solved really as a matter of courtesy and good ventilation. It's not a scientific issue.
Οι εταιρείες θεωρούν αβάσιμες τις θεωρίες για το παθητικό κάπνισμα. Αλλά κάποιοι αποστάτες μέσα από τις τάξεις της βιομηχανίας θεωρούν το ζήτημα πολύ σημαντικό.
There are just a number of documents within the company and the industry that clearly indicate that secondhand smoke is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous than mainstream smoke, and the documents date back into the 70s.
Ο Τζεφ Βίγκαντ είναι ο πιο υψηλόβαθμος αποστάτης στην ιστορία του πόλεμου του καπνού.
It was a huge stick of dynamite for the industry. They never expected someone who had been vice president of the company to come forward, and he had tremendous information. He was a very dangerous witness for the tobacco industry. That's why they tried to intimidate him, because he was seen as a traitor to the industry.
Μετά την απόλυσή του από τη θέση του προϊσταμένου έρευνας και ανάπτυξης στην εταιρεία Brown & Williamson, άρχισαν να τον κυνηγούν.
I knew the industry was following me around. I went through unmarked entrances. I traveled under different names. We had 2 bodyguards, 2 ex-Secret Service agents that provided security for both me and my family. I carried a handgun in the car. I kept the handgun in the house. I wasn't quite sure of what was going to happen. Somebody in my mailbox at my home put an unusual live round with a note saying that they hadn't forgotten me, they know where my kids are, and that tobacco wouldn't forget.
Ο Βίγκαντ γνώριζε ένα άκρος απόρριτο σχέδιο, την παραγωγή ενός μεταλλαγμένου τύπου καπνού με μεγαλύτερη περιεκτικότητα σε νοικοτήνη. Είχε τον κωδικό Y1.
Y1 is a genetically engineered tobacco that gives you approximately a 2-fold increase in nicotine. It was a program that was undertaken within the company to manipulate the nicotine delivery of the tobacco.
Τα φύλλα του καπνού Y1 κυκλοφορούσαν ήδη στην αμερικανική αγορά. Η British American Tobacco ισχυρίζεται ότι πρόκειτο για μια αποτυχημένη απόπειρα δημιουργίας ενός ασφαλέστερου τσιγάρου.
The companies knew that nicotine was addictive and that the product that they were delivering to the consumer was really a nicotine delivery device or a nicotine system.
Η ιδέα ήταν απλή. Όσο περισσότερη νοικοτήνη δίνεις στους πελάτες σου, τόσο δυσκολότερο είναι να αποεξαρτηθούν.
It's one of the most addictive substances on earth, and it's hooked millions. It's called nicotine, and the tobacco industry knows that the more nicotine their cigarettes have, the more hooked you'll be. Of course, every year thousands of people die from their addiction, but you know what they say. There's plenty of fish in the sea. The tobacco industry, they profit, you lose.
Τον ίδιο καιρό στο Μανχάταν σημειώθηκε το πρώτο ρήγμα στο αραγές μέχρι τότε μέτωπο των εταιριών εναντίον των αντιπάλων τους. Εκπρόσωποι της εταιρείας Liggett & Myers που βγάζει τα τσιγάρα Chesterfield συναντήθηκαν με έναν από τους φανατικούς πολέμιους της καπνοβιομηχανίας. Όλα έγιναν σε απόλυτη μυστικότητα.
We negotiated in New York, in different places, under assumed names. I had a secret file in my office that I called Project Phoenix. He knew that they would be squashed like a bug by Philip Morris and the other BAT and the other big companies if, in fact, the negotiations leaked out.
Επικεφαλής της Liggett ήταν ο Bennett LeBoy, ενδιαφέροντα να σώσει την εταιρεία του.
I had some morals, but not a lot, so to speak. But initially, Liggett could not afford to lose. If we lost one judgment, we'd be out of business.
Η εταιρεία Liggett είχε αποφασίσει να κλείσει συμβιβασμό με την αγωγή του Γενικού Εισαγγελέα του Mississippi.
I said to myself, what am I going to do if I go to court or go before Congress, somebody asks me, is smoking addictive, or you ask me, is smoking addictive, or smoking cause all these problems? And personally, I believe they do. What am I going to do? Hem and haw and say, I don't know, which is what they're still doing. So it's a pleasure to come out and say, not a pleasure, but it's refreshing to come out and say, yes, it does cause all these problems. Yes, it is addictive, 100%.
This was the first time that the tobacco industry had ever admitted that cigarettes cause cancer, that nicotine was an addictive drug, and yes, they had intentionally marketed to children. It drove the tobacco industry, the other 98%, nuts.
Bennett LeBeau doesn't have a conscience. His sole purpose was to sell the business to somebody for a lot of money, and he's blackmailed or attempted to blackmail effectively all members of the business to say, buy me for a large amount of money and I won't cause you any trouble. And that's Bennett LeBeau.
Well, I heard a couple statements that I'm a mafia turncoat. And my answer was, I didn't know there was a mafia out there I was part of.
Τους επόμενους μήνες και οι υπόλοιπες εταιρείες έκαναν προτάσεις συμβασμού. Τελικά στη Νέα Υόρκη συμφώνησαν να καταβάλουν ποσό άνω των $206 δισεκατομμυρίων στη Γενική Εισαγγελία.
The attorneys general have now before them a tobacco settlement proposal that would provide the states with $206 billion through the year 2025, the largest financial recovery in the history of the world. Our children under this settlement proposal will finally see the truth. The proposal provides a minimum of $2 billion for a foundation dedicated to telling the awful truth about the addictiveness and the health effects of tobacco.
Στο Λονδίνο, έδρες της εταιρείας British American Tobacco λογαριάζουν τι έχουν να πληρώνουν τα επόμενα 25 χρόνια.
To have an eventual arbitration award of $8.3 billion awarded to the lawyers for legal fees for 4 states alone, I mean, defies the word outrageous. It just is quite extraordinary.
Τους ερεθίζει ιδιαίτερα η αμοιβή που θα εισπράξουν οι δικηγόροι, γύρω στα 20 δισεκατομμύρια δολάρια.
America, the United States, is hypochondriac and litigious. And the plaintiff lawyer industry in America is totally out of hand. Most of my American friends, including my non-smoking, anti-smoking American friends, would agree that the country is in the grip of manic lawyers, and it's a great way of making an enormous amount of money. These men are wealthy beyond the dreams of avarice as a result of being struck lucky.
Let me tell you, I'm going to take the money. I could make several $1 million from this for 14 years' work. Anything that they have to pay is something that is taken away from the tobacco industry. That's riches that comes away from them. I don't feel bad about that. I hope it's a lot.
Ο Τζο Κάμελ πήρε πρόωρη σύνταξη. Η απομάκρυνση διαφημιστικών πινακίδων και του λογότυπου του Μάλμπορο συμπεριλαμβάνονταν στους όρους του συμβασμού. Όμως τα νομικά προβλήματα των μεγάλων εταιριών δεν τελείωσαν. Είχαν να αντιμετωπίσουν την πιθανότητα άσκησης αγωγής από κυβερνήσεις και ιδιώτες.
I sued Philip Morris for smoking their brand of cigarettes for 35 years and getting lung cancer. And I sued them and I was awarded $51.5 million.
Η Πατρίσια Χάνλεϊ, πρώην τραγουδίστρια της country μουσικής, εισέπραξε τριπλάσια αποζημίωση από αυτήν που είχε ζητήσει από την εταιρεία Philip Morris.
I did call the Philip Morris company and I did ask them about these warnings and whether cigarettes were as bad as the Surgeon General was saying that they were. What I was told was that if I was concerned that I could switch to the lights and that way I would get less tar and nicotine. I did. I switched to the lights. And within about a period of maybe 3 to 4 months, I was smoking 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day instead of 2. They deserted me when I became a sick smoker, and yet I was a very good customer when I wasn't. I've taken responsibility for my smoking. Number one, I'm the one that's going to die. And number two, I'm not touching the money. But they also need to take responsibility and be held accountable for the amount of people that they're going to kill tomorrow and the next day and the day after that.
Στόχος δεν ήταν μόνο οι βιομηχανίες καπνού, αλλά και οι καπνιστές. Το πρώτο δικαστήριο για ανήλικους καπνιστές έγινε στη Φλόριντα.
For a teenage tobacco court. The law says it's very clear. No one under the age of 18 may possess a tobacco product. That doesn't mean use it, smoke it, chew it. That means have it in your back pocket, hold it in your hand for a friend. Can't do it. It is exactly similar to a marijuana law.
Οι νεαροί παραβάτες, ανέλικοι κάτω από τα 18, μπορούν να επιλέξουν την ποινή τους. Χρηματικό πρόστιμο ή κοινωνική θητεία.
You have a problem standing up? I mean, you have a back disability? Oh, all right. I thought you were lying. Community service are fine. What are you doing? Community service. Okay. It's what a good life.
Η βαρύτερη ποινή για τους νεαρούς κατηγορούμενους θεωρείται η θανατική ποινή, αφαίρεση της άδειας οδήγησης.
16? Community service are fine. What are we doing there? Community service. I'd rather you do it too. That was a wonderful decision. I totally agree with that. Now make another decision. Good luck. Thank you. Hi, guys.
My license got suspended over a smoking ticket, so I can't drive. And I have my car sitting at home. I gotta get to work every day. I gotta depend on rides. I'm not gonna drive on a suspended license, and it's hard. It's hard.
Seeing some of my friends in here too, I thought that was pretty humiliating. That because they're gonna go back and tell some people, oh, I saw him and so in court and all this stuff. Because barely anybody knows that I'm here today.
Community service is fine. What are we doing now?
Community service.
That's a smart decision. 1/3 of the teenagers given the summons no longer smoke. Although I would not have originally considered the court system the place to stop teenage smoking, it seems to be more effective than any other program that's been going on.
Στη δυτική ακτή της Αμερικής, η επικράτηση των αντικαπνιστών είναι πλήρης. Η πόλη Davis στη Βόρεια Καλιφόρνια είναι η πόλη με την αυστηρότερη νομοθεσία σε ολόκληρη την Αμερική. Εδώ το κάπνισμα θεωρείται δημόσιος κίνδυνος. Ο συντάκτης των δημοτικών αντικαπνιστικών κανονισμών κάνει περιπολία.
You cannot smoke in restaurants, you cannot smoke in bars, you cannot smoke in stores, you cannot smoke in public buildings such as City Hall, you cannot smoke in schools. We also do not allow smoking in outdoor cafes that are associated with the restaurant. One of the things that makes the Davis ordinance unique is that you cannot smoke within 20 feet of the entrance to a public building or a store. Let's face it, smokers have had it their way for a long time. We're not infringing upon their freedoms. Their freedom stops when it reaches the tip of my nose. I have a right to breathe free air.
Σε ολόκληρη την Καλιφόρνια έχει ξεσπάσει ανοιχτός πόλεμος ανάμεσα σε καπνιστές και αντικαπνιστές.
They have a right to smoke where people are not.
Who are these people? Who the hell are these people to tell me what I should do with my life?
No, I don't think we're telling them what to do. We're just telling them where they can do it.
They have ad campaigns where they smile and their teeth are all brown. Well, I'm smoking 30 years and I have pretty white teeth. It's hygiene.
The start has been made, the progress has been good, and we hope at some point in time that we would see a smoke-free America.
Μια καθαρή αποκάπνισμα Αμερική είναι το τελευταίο πράγμα που θα ήθελαν να δουν αγρότες, όπως ο Ράστι Τόμψον στο Κεντάκι. Η οικογένειά του ασχολείται με το καπνό εδώ και πολλές γενιές. Μη καπνιστής και ο ίδιος παραδέχεται ότι το τσιγάρο δεν κάνει καλό. Για αυτόν όμως ο καπνός είναι θέμα επιβίωσης.
This is the money bomb. This little flake that will make about 5 cigarettes right there. So when you look at the amount of volume, it doesn't take a lot of tobacco. This barn will generate 60 million cigarettes. So tobacco is a high dollar crop for big tobacco, and it's a high dollar crop for me. High dollar.
Για να προωθήσουν τις πωλήσεις, οι διαφημίσεις στοχεύουν στην νεολαία και χρησιμοποιούν το στοιχείο του σεξ. Αλλά και οι πολέμοι του τσιγάρου χρησιμοποιούν το σεξ.
Medical researchers believe cigarettes are a leading cause of impotence. You're going to be looking at smoking a little differently. Still think they're sexy?
Παρά τα προβλήματα, η βιομηχανία καπνού παραμένει μία από τις πιο κερδοφόρες. Αλλά τα προϊόντα της προορίζονται όλο και περισσότερο για τον τρίτο κόσμο. Εκεί πλέον είναι το μέλλον. Η βιομηχανία επιθυμεί διακαώς να απαλλαγεί από τη ρετσινιά. Επιζητά οικονομική σταθερότητα. Αυτός είναι και ο λόγος που κατέφυγε σε συμβασμό με ορισμένους από τους εχθρούς της. Όμως ο πόλεμος εναντίον της δεν λέει να κοπάσει. Και θεωρούνται παρείες.
The tobacco industry sells a product that obviously can be dangerous and risky to people who use it. And I think if you look back at the history of this industry, it probably hasn't emphasized cooperation with health authorities enough in hindsight. I think we could have done a better job as an industry over the past 40 years.
When they write the history of the 20th century and look at the number of people who died throughout the world from tobacco use, historians are going to ask the question, how could we do so little about such an important plague?
Lord have mercy. Honey, somebody.
Every cigarette company in the United States should be out of business in 25, 30 years. Because if you're really not going to sell to children, you're really not selling to children, you're going to have no customers in 25, 30 years.
There are too many forces in this country that aren't looking for resolution, that simply I call them absolutists. They don't want to fashion a compromise. They simply want to drive these industries out of existence. And because in the political scene, they can't do it in Congress, they're going to try to do it in the courts.
By the year 2025, 500 million people will die of smoking. Now, that's a Vietnam War every day for 27 years. That's the Titanic sinking every 27 minutes for 27 years.
Κάθε μέρα στη Βρετανία, 300 άνθρωποι πεθαίνουν από ασθένειες που έχουν σχέση με το κάπνισμα. Ο Σον Φλιν ξέρει ότι σύντομα θα είναι ένας από αυτούς.
I'm going to die. You know, it's a fait accompli. You are going to die. I'm not going to win the battle.
Ο Σον εργάζονταν στη διαφήμιση. Ανάμεσα στους πελάτες του ήταν η British American Tobacco και η RJ Reynolds. Από τα 13 του χρόνια καταναλώνει το προϊόν που διαφήμισε.
You're not selling smoking, you're not selling tobacco, you're not selling the ritual, you're selling lifestyle. For me, I will carry on smoking. But given the chance or the choice of living again, I wouldn't smoke, knowing what I know now. Once I'd been notified that it was terminal cancer, it was what the hell, you know, it's like, I'm going to die, so I might as well enjoy it.
Παρά τις συνεχείς προειδοποιήσεις για τις βλαβερές συνέπειες του καπνού, το κάπνισμα στη Βρετανία παρουσιάζει αυξητική τάση. Για πρώτη φορά, μετά από 25 χρόνια, 1 στα 3 15χρονα κορίτσια καπνίζει. 2 στους 3 καπνιστές λένε ότι θέλουν να κόψουν το τσιγάρο, αλλά δεν μπορούν. Καθώς κοντεύει να κλείσει σχεδόν ένας αιώνας κυκλοφορίας του τσιγάρου, είναι βέβαιο ότι ο πόλεμος του καπνού, στον οποίο διακυβεύονται κολοσσιαία ποσά και εκατομμύρια ζωές, θα συνεχιστεί χωρίς διακοπή και την επόμενη χιλιετία. Μετάφραση Τάσος Ρόκας. Μίξη ήχου Βασίλης Βασιλάκης.